Hey, what's up, pro wrestling fans? Welcome to the Nation's Corner. I am Front Row. Joining me tonight at this very special edition of Forbidden Door, Nation's Corner was Too Sweet Neil and, of course, John in South Jersey. What's up, people?
What's up?
Non?
I see the chat's lighting up already. I see Deb is out in stormy Pocono Mountains. Hope she stays safe out there. Having lived in the Pocono Mountains for 14 years, it is it's often unpredictable. I see Mad Mac Davis. Mac Davis, thank you for joining. John Bay's in the chat. I see Neil's in the chat. Oh, wait.
He's right there. But
yeah, that's a different Neil. We have Too Sweet Neil. That's a different Neil.
That's it. Yeah. You know.
Kayfabe, brother.
Yeah. Me and that other Neil in the chat. We got to get together and do the Spider-Man pose like you and Jimmy Corderas did at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Also joining us in the chat,
of course.
Oh, hey.
Always good to see Brooke.
It's always nice when our resident medical advisor checks in.
Yeah.
Yes. As you bring that up, I saw a post from our very own friend Facade, who was on SmackDown last night taking an RKO from the Viper. I saw he was at a local medical facility posting this morning with a neck brace, but he still was going to make his bookings this weekend. So good for him. He's a warrior.
He was going to power through. Through. They gave him a couple Z-Packs and some Motrin, and he's good to go.
Yeah, that local medical facility looked oddly like a Walmart.
Yes, it did.
Who's to say?
It could have been camera trickery.
Yeah. Could have been.
Well, hey, when you got to make the towns, you got to make the towns.
Hey, man, booked and busy. That's not just a slogan.
No, not at all.
Oh, we got RJ's in the chat.
What's up, RJ?
Mongrovian Mike's in the chat. Awesome.
Wow, he figured out how to be in the chat. I didn't know he knew how to do all the fancy, technical stuff, being he's, like 8 million years old.
He's properly motivated. All kinds of stuff happens.
Oh, yeah.
He's melting away. Mongrovian Mike
is
a much smaller version of himself now.
Yeah. That month in summer must be terrible.
Dude, it is effing hot everywhere. My God.
It thankfully the last 2 days, yesterday and today, it has cooled down here on the Northeast. Like the humidity yesterday wasn't bad. It's a little bit bad today, but it's not hot. Like, where I live in New York, and I'm sure John knows where he is in South Jersey, the humidity, but the heat has gone down, which has made it feel nice.
Yes, the humidity dropped out of the
cool factor.
Yeah, the humidity has dropped out of the triple digits, which makes it better. But to quote the Hall of Famer Paul Heyman, hot as balls.
Yeah,
outside.
Yes,
that's the general weather term for the Northeast.
Yes.
Yeah, it was 94 here. It's currently 91 in the shade. It's not really cooled down at all. I think when I went to bed, I was watching wrestling with everybody on Zoom last night at like 1 in the morning, and it was still 88 or 89 here.
That gives me PTSD to our last time in Texas when we were at that outdoor establishment at 1 in the morning, and it was over 100 still.
It was god awful hot in May. Oh my God. First week of May in Texas was unpleasant. Speaking of the wise man, John, we are going to get into a bunch of AEW and New Japan talk for sure. But we have to talk about last night. And shout out to the wise man who was kind enough to inscribe a nice little thing for me here. It may have been a signing. It may have been direct.
They're holding the photo of they killed a Jewish man last night on national television.
Yeah, they did. And I'm gonna have to say that man, he might need to hit a little bit of a diet or something, maybe, because it kind of looked like God and Jacob Fatu were struggling a little bit.
I mean, Paul's not quite as svelte as he was in his younger days, but
no, not at all.
I mean,
how long has it been? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, shout out to that Samoan bloodline for hoisting that rather large Jewish man up like that and placing him down oh so gently.
Yes.
The memes have been amazing today. There's been some great ones out there. That one shot of him sort of hunched over, looking even more portly, and was amazing. Shout out! I mean, just massive kudos. It's been a long time since Paul Heyman took like a serious bump like that, and that was
true.
Oh yeah,
I figured there was going to be a beatdown. I didn't think he was going through an announce table.
Yeah. No, that was not on the
I was
bingo card, as they say these days.
Yeah. The and let's say he took a Samoan spike from Solo, a splash from
Jacob Fatu with the headbutt,
right, and then they picked him up and put him through the table.
Yeah,
so it was a busy night for Paul. I hope he got extra for that. Hope he got a little something for the house.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things I wanted to ask you guys about, because this new bloodline has sort of had hills and valleys and moments where I was kind of like, okay, where are we going with this? And it's interesting, but like it doesn't have the weekly fire that the original storyline had. But then they do stuff like this, and you're like, holy crap, they just added like nitrous, like they just added fuel to the fire and lit the place up. Because I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. Now everybody is going, now I actually hate these motherfuckers. Like now there's a problem. Yeah. Now I care.
Well, and just to touch on that for a second, that I listened to Busted Open this morning with Matt Camp and Denise, and Matt Camp brought up a very interesting point with that. Paul Heyman is a babyface now.
Yes.
What not even in Bizarro world does the statement Paul Heyman is a babyface ever even occur, much less make sense. But that's exactly seemingly where we're at right now.
But wouldn't you say, John, you say that Paul Heyman's been a babyface since Solo took over? He's been sympathetic since that moment when he started to become afraid for his life, and he started to have to, and we're doing all these things where, okay, so I was listening to Sam Roberts the other day, and he was saying, in a cult, what they do is they typically separate someone from their family, and then they get that person to believe that the family doesn't want them anymore. Oh, we talked to them, they're not interested. They said this, this, and this. Well, that's exactly what's happened with Solo. He separated Heyman from Roman and made him believe that Roman's not coming back, that Roman is done, and all this other stuff.
Right.
So now I think really it's been weeks now since Heyman's been presented as a sympathetic babyface.
But you always had, and true, it absolutely, because you've been, like I said, even weeks prior, that's not the same. We're used to seeing this very confident, in control. Everything is fine. I know exactly what's going on. Even what you don't know, I know. This Paul Heyman, that famous Paul Heyman ECW swagger. We're so used to seeing that. We have definitely not been seeing that. We have been seeing exactly what he is. A middle-aged, very portly Jewish man who is afraid for his life around some absolute savages that he has no control over. And it's a very strange position for Heyman to be in.
Yep.
And John, I appreciate the fact that you and I are the same age. We're both in our early 50s, and you think 58-year-old Paul Heyman is middle-aged. I think that's amazing.
I'm just trying to move the curve for us a little bit.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
And to what John said, I agree, because you looked at him last night when they shot up close after he told Solo that he was not his tribal chief, and you could see the teary red-eyed, and you could see like the unshaven like scruffle that was starting to come in, and you're like, yeah, this isn't Paul Heyman. Like this is the real guy, not the Paul Heyman that we're used to seeing.
Very true.
So
very true.
That was good, and I liked that part of it as well.
And Neil, did you notice in that moment when he came out? Obviously, he was all disheveled and not shaven, and he was a wreck, and the bloodshot eyes and all that. Beautiful little touches on all that.
Oh yeah.
But when he said that he would not acknowledge Solo, he got angry, and I saw a bit of ECW Paul in that moment.
In the way he threw the microphone down and the tone of his voice when he said it. Yes, absolutely. absolutely saw that, and I was like, "Oh," but now it's like you said when we started this, that okay, now I hate these people. I'm like, ooh, okay. Now I'm more into wanting to see Roman and the Usos come back, like now. But I'm being patient because it's long term. They're building to it. They're building to it. Hopefully, Paul will be off TV for like a few weeks, or so, and we'll build towards it because it's just so great. Like you said, you think it gets boring, and then they just hit the gas, and you're like, oh, well, fuck, I gotta pay attention now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now you have my attention. And someone in the chat brings up a good point. Will Solo bring in his own wise man? And I have an idea for who that could be. If that was an actual thing, I think you bring in Rikishi.
You mean, yeah, his father? Yeah, I'd bring his father.
Not a stretch, I know, but like he fits the bill, right?
No, absolutely, absolutely fits the bill.
Sure. And
okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And just one last point with this. We have to remember now, like you just said, Front Row, Paul Heyman may not be off of television or away from things for a little while. Now they have absolutely no control over what the three of them do, or four of them do. None whatsoever. But Heyman was like the last little clothespin holding the one little shred of control left. Now it's absolutely game on. Who knows exactly what's going to happen? When the forum, because there's no filter now, there's no buffer, nothing. There's no I'll go talk to Paul. Now it's Nick Aldis got his hands full.
Yeah. And to a point, to see it come back. Obviously, me, we know, and other people that know. Massive, New Japan, Japanese wrestling fan. The younger brother of Tama Tonga Loa, Hikuleo, finished his stuff with New Japan at Dominion. It's been signed. They're trying to work on trademarking a new name for him, whatever. I want to see him come in. But I want to see him come in, and I want to see him join the Roman side. Roman, the Usos. Now you bring in Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa's younger brother, who is the tallest out of the three of them at 6'10". I want to see him come in and it really, split like both ways, like a real, split of it. And they eventually get to, the big match, hopefully, which is a Survivor Series, traditional Survivor Series or War Games match, hopefully with Bloodline versus Bloodline.
Yeah. And for all you dirt sheet readers out there, know the trademark name they're using is not Tala Loa. It is not.
No. But know that dirt sheet writers know that fans like this guy right here know and will not help you out, but will call you out on your BS about everything going on in Japan, because you don't watch the product, you just report on it and you just make up your own stories. So boo. I will say I would use some gestures and some language, but this is a family show right here. So boo dirt sheet writers about what you're making up about that's going on in Japan and other Japanese wrestling promotions.
They don't even speak the language.
Exactly.
Look, I don't know if you've ever seen the show before, but Elder Mike, Mongrovian Mike, is not particularly friendly.
No, I know he isn't. And we both come from the same state, even though I need a passport to get to Monrovia, even though it's on Long Island. I need to get to Monrovia, Long Island. I need a passport, but I will be friendly and I will be nice.
I do. And I do. And let's keep the tradition going, John Bay. GFY.
Yes, exactly. And
speaking of geography,
and for those that don't understand the acronym of GFY, it means go fuck yourself. So okay, so there we go. I'll say
there goes our monetization, which we're not monetized, so it doesn't really matter.
There we go.
If you cost me one more zero off my paycheck, Neil, there will be hell to pay.
You actually
will rule the day.
You get paid.
Who says that?
Yeah.
Who says that?
I didn't know we were getting paid.
It was hot and I was hungry.
Oh.
Okay.
Understand.
Well, speaking of geography, I know you live in the area of the country as Paul Heyman, so if you could swing by and check on him for us, that'd be great. The only other WWE thing I wanted to hit on before we talk about Forbidden Door, we can't have a show tonight without talking about that interview on Raw. When we saw Uncle Howdy, we heard the music and all this stuff was going on. We saw, even rewind, we saw, Sister Abigail, Abby the Witch, whatever. I don't know what they're going to call her, but like when we saw that all go down with Chad Gable, with the smoke, the way that she exited, all of that was beautiful. But what I want to get your opinions on is the interview that followed. And I've heard this dissected a million different ways this week, and everybody loved it. Like, I've not anybody who didn't like this just doesn't like good things. They don't need good things in their life, because what we saw was an absolute work of brilliance. I thought we were getting one thing, and then when they panned over and we got what we thought was Bo Dallas, and what Bully has said is really Taylor, we've really gotten the real person. So Neil, for you, like what were you thinking as you were sort of watching him talk about his brother and all his real life feelings?
I felt the real the Taylor Rotunda talking about his brother. I didn't feel like it did not feel wrestling at all to me. It did not feel, storyline or gimmick or, hey, we're on a wrestling entertainment show on live national television. It felt like a real guy in his real raw emotion, almost like it was a camera. Hey, there's a camera in front of you, and this happened. Like, they got his emotion as it happened, like when Bray or Wyndham really passed away, like when he initially did, last year. Like, it's okay, we're gonna put you in the room with a camera and we're gonna record it. Just be yourself. Talk as Taylor and talk about your real life brother. Not be Bo Dallas talking about Bray Wyatt and all this other stuff. I felt like it was just true, real, raw, honest emotion, because we've all lost somebody in our family, brother, sister, mom, dad, whatever you want to say it is, the person was to you. We've all lost somebody, and that's how I felt. Because I know how I feel, and I know how I've expressed myself when losing a blood-related family member. So I got that real, like, I fell asleep early. You guys know I have to wake up super early for work. So I watched it Tuesday morning. And I'm driving down the highway to the first delivery, and I'm crying like I just lost like my grandmother or grandfather, and I completely forgot that it was pro wrestling, and I just really felt like it was real life. That's how I felt. That's what I got.
Yeah, and John, for you, like, I know one of the things that you noticed and you mentioned was that they're reaching into social media, they're reaching into all of the things that people are saying, and they're pulling them into the story, they're pulling them and putting them right on TV. Right. Like the comment about, do you feel like you're exploiting your brother's passing? Like that literally shocked me. I'm going, I can't believe they put that up. They did that, right? And they let him speak to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And absolutely, that's what they're doing. And just my initial reaction, I watched it live Monday night with you and everybody else on Zoom. Much like the name of the show, raw, absolutely raw. No filter, no script, no anything. This was a man speaking truly from his feelings and his heart and his mind. And after the amazing debut we saw of them, we're like, okay, great. Where are we going? Then they come back the following week with this sort of sit down interview thing, and now I'm even more confused and actually excited to see, because I always thought at some point they would do something like this, but not the second week, not the second week of television. Let things develop out, let things, let characters flesh out everything. They were like, nope. See, just when you think over here, whack, we gonna hit you in the head with this. Now you're like, what in the hell? Again, what in the hell is going on? Because now you have now, like anything else, questions. I have questions. Is Uncle Howdy Bo Dallas? Is this are we getting a look into Taylor Wyndham's or Taylor Rotundo's mind about his brother, which is very, very obviously very real, very natural feelings and stuff? Is this coming now from him? Is Uncle Howdy a manifestation of him through his brother? It's just questions, and you're sitting there the same way I was at a little after 11 o'clock Monday night. What did I just see?
Yep.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what to think about it. And I need to go to bed and think about this in the morning. And yet again, throughout this whole thing, and especially just with WWE in general, but specifically with Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six, you're going to be tuned in every Monday night now from 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. to 11 o'clock, because you have to see what the next piece is, what the next installment is. Even if you don't care about anything else on the show, you will be tuned in for all 3 hours every Monday night just to see where this is going.
Yes, and to one thing, I got a little hate for Michael Cole. Thanks for making everybody that knew what a VHS tape was making them feel old, because as you said earlier, Front Row, to John, the both of you are early 50s. I'm not that much far behind. You guys are like 15, 10 to 15 years older than me.
Right.
But thanks to Michael Cole for saying, oh, VHS tape, I haven't seen one in 25 years. Two words to you, Michael Cole. Fuck you. And also, thanks for making everybody feel old who actually knows what a VHS tape is.
Well, okay, so Neil, I have to, I just, the reason that, in my mind, the reason that he did that was to say, we have this content, it's on an old format, rather than just popping it up on the screen. We now have to send somebody to go get this old ass thing, and it was a smart piece of storytelling, I thought.
It was, but you didn't need to add the amount of year, the quarter century amount of years. Brooke,
does Brooke have to stay? Doesn't she have a bedtime or something?
Yeah, really. Come on, John.
No, she's a grown woman. She'll be 25 next month. What the fuck you want from me?
It's a heel turn on live TV.
Like she ever listened to me anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody else get like a whole ton of notifications from Facebook Marketplace about VCRs all of a sudden after Monday night? And my only other comment and yeah, F you, Michael Cole, but he's older than us, so it don't really matter. But I just wanted to see like some intern or something, have them actually cut the production truck and have two young guys there at the console saying, "What the fuck is this? What do we do with this? what I don't even know what this is."
But the other thing about the VHS is the way that it played. It played like an old school VHS where the video was wonky, and all of that added to the visuals of what we saw for the interview. There was freeze frames, which happened in old school VHS.
Absolutely,
right?
you know, the tracking.
I loved
where
all
you
that.
have to mess with the tracking and get the lines through. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
No, it's brilliantly done, but it's and it's like a VHS, really.
Yeah.
So before we move on, there's two. I just want to hit on two quick things. So I've seen a lot of breakdowns of this, and so it's always been my belief and the belief of a lot of other people that the Firefly Funhouse was inside of Bray's mind, and that was all of his insecurities. Go back, Sam Roberts did a wonderful breakdown of all of it. Some of it was used in the documentary, all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, the Firefly Funhouse is all imaginary or whatever, right? So when they pulled back from Taylor or Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy, I'm pretty sure they were in the Firefly Funhouse. So to me, that says these are two characters in one mind. Like, this isn't actually two people. So I don't know that for a fact, but that's what. The other thing I want to mention is John Bay mentions how will this translate into the ring? Will it be supernatural? So right now, for me, because they've taken these other characters and they've told us their backstory, they've told us these were real people. These were real wrestlers that were in WWE, and here's their journey, and here's why they're here. Through the QR codes, they told us the story. So now these are not supernatural characters. They're creepy as fuck, for sure. But there's nothing about, I haven't seen powers, I haven't seen invincibility or any of that other stuff. What I've seen is some really nasty, violent people. So as of right now, it translates to the ring fine for me because they're Undertaker level. They're creepy, but still going to be wrestling. So and they're all good wrestlers too. They picked the right people.
Yes, they did.
Absolutely.
Okay, we get some time left. I really definitely want to talk about this pay-per-view. So
we got half an hour or more. Or more.
We get 30 minutes.
We're live, pal.
If John lets us do an overrun. I'm getting word from the truck that we might be allowed to do an overrun tonight.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, thankfully, there's no busted open after dark, so we don't interfere.
We won't be. There will be no play-by-play.
I
don't want to get bully angry. No,
I don't want to get
for sure.
That overrun, busted open after dark heat.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Exactly.
So if we run over, John will pay our overrun. Thanks, John.
Oh, okay. Thanks. We're sponsored. Thanks.
John Bay.
Again, send sponsorship requests to thenationscorner@gmail.com. And nobody will answer you.
Okay.
So I want to make one real quick complaint. Not a complaint, because I do think they did a really good job. AEW's done a much better job of storytelling going into this pay-per-view, and I thought I obviously haven't seen Collision tonight, but Dynamite did a pretty solid job of a go-home show. I do think that there's 3 women's matches on the card, which is awesome. However, 2 of them have the same fucking people. So whatever. It is what it is. But I want to jump around a little bit. So just real quick, Neil and I are wearing our New Japan shirts. I have my Charlotte.
I'm just
New Japan
sort of
Charlotte.
representing. I'm sort of
Bullet
representing.
Club. Yeah, okay. That's it's ancillary, but okay, we'll allow it. I want to jump around to the matches that we're most interested in, because there's a lot of stuff on here that are great on paper, but don't have the story going behind it. I want to start with a story that I think people are shitting on, and I think they're missing the point. I think Chris Jericho is doing an unbelievable job with this character. Are the segments great? No, but everything he's doing, he's being the overly enthusiastic veteran. I'm here to help the young guys, and he pulls little things from the headlines, from dirt sheets, and if you're paying attention to what he's doing, it's actually very nuanced. I kind of like it.
Yes, I'm enjoying it, and I'm from the people I talk to and converse with, I'm one of the few people that are actually enjoying it, because I get what Jericho is trying to do, and just the same as any of the other iterations we have seen Chris Jericho in with AEW. He absolutely plays into the character or whatever, and it's him. Just various. It's almost like watching a one-man show with different costume changes.
Yeah,
and that's all it is. It's still basically him, but it's him tapping into different parts of his character, his experience, his time, whatever, into this way. And you're right. It is absolutely douche chill, cringe worthy what he's doing in the ring right now. And you're like, this, but you're watching and you are reacting. I love it because I've always loved anything that Jericho does. I always find it very entertaining, which is kind of what his whole shtick in AEW has been, that he's an entertainer. He's not a wrestler. I'm not a what was it? The absolute excellence in sports entertainment. So
okay, so Trenda brings up a good point. The kid dreaded Dynamite because he didn't sing just. This makes me appreciate him even more.
Right.
And to an opposite effect of what you just said, John, I can't listen to the promos that he does backstage because the voice is just so annoying, and and it's just like, I know that's what you're getting at. That's why it's getting over, and that's what he's supposed to do. But the voice and the yelling, I'm just like,
hi guys.
He loses.
Hi guys.
I get lost in it, but then I'm like, I have to mute. But what I'm and Big Bill is starting to annoy me about it too, which is great. But the thing that I truly like about it, like honestly the most, is Brian Keith. Now, for those fans out there that don't know what exists outside of AEW or WWE, Brian Keith is fucking amazing. He's phenomenal. You know, he wasn't around for like a month or so before because he did a tour of Japan. But even before that, doing the independence and everything.
Built quite a name and reputation for himself.
Dude's been grinding for 10 years.
Yeah.
And the best part about the whole thing for me is Brian Keith's little at the end, you know, if you don't respect Jericho, you should. And it's just like, dude wearing some big traditional oversized cowboy hat because he is from Texas. It's hilarious. But I can't stand Jericho's voice in these backstage promos or anytime he's on the mic now in the ring. And I'm just like, Steve, we're getting 30%. Thanks, Steve. I'll remember that. Make sure you cook them and have the party. If you cook them and have a party, I'll be there. But the Jericho's voice is just bothering me, and it loses me, and I get lost, and I'm like, I know it's supposed to be an annoying heel character, but I'm just like, I just want to punch you in the face, and that's what he's going for, and it bothers me that I get lost in it, and I'm like,
you're getting got.
It is a character that you look at and you go, I see what he's doing, and it's still working.
Yes,
exactly.
It turns out he's pretty good at this stuff.
Yeah, he knows.
I'm not a big fan of his pairing with Big Bill, although I will say Samoa Joe and Hook, awesome together. Shibata is doing stuff I'd never thought I'd see him do.
He's killing me.
All of this is wildly entertaining. So I wanted to go to a couple matches and get your picks, and everybody in the chat, I want to get your picks too. I'm very interested in the title matches because I think there's some big question marks out there where there's not a lot of certainty behind them. Like Jon Moxley versus Naito. Awesome. I'm super excited that this is going to be on a pay-per-view for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, okay.
The obvious choice is that Moxley will retain because he's the AEW guy, but there's also this partnership could also be, hey, we want this title back in New Japan, right?
No, not yet.
No, okay.
No. I'm a rant rant on this for a few minutes right now, and I'm gonna book the whole thing straight out, and you can clip it. And the social media team for the Nation's Corner, shout out to, we all know who she is.
Oh,
you know, she does an amazing job. And oh yeah, by the way, hit the link in bio too.
Very good.
Moxley wins. Moxley's going over without a doubt. Moxley goes over. There's a very nice, very polite British guy that's very fluent in Japanese, that lives in Japan, that works for New Japan. He's in this group. Oh, he is the front man. He's in this group. Oh yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. You know, of TNT.
Oh, Chef Izaki.
Yeah, Trenda's favorite. You know, Zack Sabre Jr. You know, Taz doesn't like the group because they wear orange and black. Zack and Moxley were supposed to get a match for the U.S. title, but the pandemic happened. So Zack's in the G1, which starts in 3 weeks. Zack wins. Zack's going to win the G1. Zack, Moxley, either maybe towards the end of the year at King of Pro Wrestling, or you know, maybe if they do it at another big show here in the U.S. But
do they take it all the way out to Wrestle Kingdom, Neil?
Honestly, yes.
Okay.
Zack, Moxley, main event, Wrestle Kingdom. Zack goes over on Moxley, wins the title, because Zack deserves it. Zack's been in Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, New Japan, you know, speaks the language, lives there, wrestles on every show, every tour, complete company guy. And it would go to the building of the storyline of TMDK and Zack Sabre Jr. So I'm going to put it out there. Dirt Sheet Writers, you watch this show. Listen, I gave you your headline. Zack Sabre Jr. wins G1 Climax 34. Him versus Jon Moxley, main event, Wrestle Kingdom, Tokyo Dome, January 4th, 2025. Zack Sabre Jr. is going to beat Jon Moxley for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And in a perfect world, they will get rid of that World Heavyweight Championship butterfly title, and they will bring back the IWGP Heavyweight Championship version 4, which it was the best and most beautiful looking title in professional wrestling.
I agree.
Done.
Agreed.
I agree.
Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, no, I don't see Moxley losing even to Naito. And I wholeheartedly, I won't go into in depth with Neil with the booking, but yes, Zack Sabre Jr. absolutely is the next guy up in New Japan. And this is a New Japan formula that has worked basically forever for them, but most recently, you look at Kenny Omega. Came in, smaller dude, went through, did his stint as junior heavyweight champion, won the G1. All of a sudden, you see Kenny Omega start coming back with bigger size, bigger bulk, bigger body mass. What then? He is on a run for the IWGP title, becomes the guy there. Kenny moves on, the next one up, and didn't quite get a chance to fill it just because
injury.
TK, well, injury, and TK wrote him a big fat check for a bag of money.
Yeah,
and the next one was Will Ospreay, but that's moot now because Will Ospreay's in AEW. Yep. So you can see this exact same pattern again with Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. is the next guy up, you know, because let's face it, and we see it absolutely every week on AEW now. New Japan doesn't have a whole lot of stars in the cupboard right now. They have very good wrestlers, but they don't have that guy, or even now with the official papers signed the merger of New Japan and Stardom. They don't have that girl either right now.
No.
So
no.
if nothing,
they lost that girl.
Well, she'll be showing up somewhere else very soon. And we can't wait. But in the meantime, like anything else, this doesn't happen overnight. They need time to get people, get people in line, get people interested, and then the show and make their effort to say, okay, this is our next guy up, our next girl up. So I don't see Moxley, like I said, that's why I made the comment to Neil about Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom, besides being an absolutely fantastic show, just too bad it's on the other side of the fucking world and we can't watch it like normal times. It absolutely is it's the WrestleMania for New Japan, and it's the reset. All their story, they finish up all old storylines, start new ones at Wrestle Kingdom going forward to carry through to the next year. So in that time, I absolutely anticipate we're going to see Moxley in a bunch of really great matches tomorrow night, notwithstanding against Naito, but him actually lose the belt. I can see maybe somewhere along the line he drops it, but to get it back again, because the main, like Neil said, the main event, Wrestle Kingdom, is Moxley versus Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP Championship.
Yeah, and to what you just said, John, I don't see him dropping the belt at all because it'll deflate the build up. But I do see them. I kind of see like number one. Mox has got to be there more. Yeah, I know it's a long trip. Yeah, I know it's on the other side of the world, and you're away from your family, and yeah, you're contracted to another company. Number one, I get why they dropped why Naito dropped the belt in Chicago. Naito won the belt. He got the roll call. He got the little bit of the few months with it in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But to drop to Moxley, okay, I understand. Moxley's got to separate himself from the BCC for a little while and be more dedicated to hitting the towns and doing the tours and everything in Japan. Then, like, it'll build up more. But the guy is absolutely going to be Zack Sabre Jr. It's going to be Wrestle Kingdom main event. Moxley, Sabre Jr. If they really want to go for it with the whole group, with Zack, with the whole entire TMDK, you get I know Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles, they lost their shot at the IWGP Junior Tag title. You give them the IWGP Junior Tag titles. You build it through G1. You build it through, best of, Super Junior Tag League and World Tag League. And then you get to the road to Wrestle Kingdom. That's when you start getting them preview tags that New Japan is so famously renowned for, because those are the matches that you get to see before you have to get to the pay-per-view, and it's great. So Moxley holds the title, but he drops it clean to Zack at Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome.
Okay, one thing I want to just...
That I cannot wait for.
So I got to add real quick. So I've made the flight to Japan. It sucks. When we flew, well, we had a nonstop, which was 14 hours.
On money where Moxley flies on one of Tony's private jets.
It's still a long ass flight. It sucks. And they don't typically fly direct anymore. So he would have to fly from Cincinnati. He would have to fly from Ohio to LAX, get a layover there, go to Japan. It's 20 hours each way with layovers and travel and all this bullshit. It's a lot of work for a 12-minute match. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And if you're flying on TK's plane, you got to sit on all that cocaine. So how comfortable can it be?
Allegedly. Yeah, well, for legal reasons, we're saying allegedly.
Okay.
Okay, so a couple matches I wanted to get. I'm very excited for everything that they're doing with Toni Storm. I think out of all of the Thunder and Britt storyline was amazing, and up until recently, it was still, in my mind, the benchmark for storytelling in the women's division. Toni Storm has done something very unique, very special. She's widely entertaining, and now with Mariah May and the dynamic between Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa, having those two being in Club Venus together, and then the where are her loyalties? It's a really interesting story that's not reliant on two-dimensional. There's real history there that they're showing. I think it's good. In no world is Toni Storm going to lose the title, but the story is great.
It's one of these few situations where they have absolutely, and whether it be just by dumb luck because of the people involved, or if this was thought about, they have, Forbidden Door traditionally has not ever been about stories, or very minimal, or just this person versus this person, and that's kind of the story. But again, they have hit upon something that is very wildly entertaining. Here are, who doesn't want to fight over the pretty blonde girl? Who doesn't want to watch that fight? Who gets the girl at the end? And it doesn't matter in this case, and this day and age.
British too, so that.
Right. Well, we're not going to turn it into that way yet, Neil. But who doesn't want to watch two people fight over a girl, and who gets the girl at the end? And it doesn't matter in this case, man, woman, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's who gets Mariah, and that's and it's again what makes it interesting is obviously you have the history already with Mariah and Toni and AEW, and then previously, right before Mariah got here, she absolutely had a great run and story with part of Club Venus and Mina. That on paper it just seems like a whole bunch of fluff, and it's more gimmick than anything else. But it's a real story, and it's with two women that really can wrestle, and it's something that is absolutely if it wasn't for other things on the card, you could make this a main event easily. And yes, I agree. I'm very interested. I know it's going to be a great match. I'm and just knowing how entertaining Toni Storm is, it's going to be this match that it's going to be a good wrestling match per se, but there's a whole lot of room for a whole lot of different shenanigans that are going to make it very entertaining. Absolutely entertaining.
I have a shenanigan that'll lead to possibly a Mariah May turn on Mina. And that was when Mina went to crack the bottle on Toni and cracked Mariah.
Of course, yes. That was fun.
Mariah is going to cost Mina the match. And put her allegiance aside from Club Venus to just timeless Toni Storm. Might lead to another match of Mina and Mariah in Stardom, because they had those matches before they became the tag team and won the Stardom tag team titles.
Right. And
did Club Venus. But I don't see Mina winning. I don't see Mina winning to win the title. Like maybe like I said, Mariah screws Mina, and then maybe you get Mina and Mariah in Japan, and the stipulation is Mina Steve, maybe Mina beats Mariah in Japan, and then it's a rematch
in America.
In Japan.
Sure. Oh, okay.
I also see a world in which Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa actually return as a tag team, and they start to build the women's tag division back up.
That would be great, but
not opposed to it.
But I mean, I would like to see a women's tag team division, maybe in AEW.
No, here, no, in AEW.
Yeah. But there's no belts. Like let's get some women's tag.
But if you build credible teams, then you can ask for a belt. If there's no credible teams, then there's no need for it.
Take them off the Bang Bang Gang. They got like 12 of them.
Yeah.
A couple more matches I wanted to hit on, and this one's interesting to me because Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaquer. Is it Vaquer, right? Vaquer.
Vaquer.
I always get Vaquer. Okay, I always get her name wrong.
Yes.
Of course, the winner takes both the AEW Women's World Championship as well as the New Japan Strong Women's Championship as well.
Yeah.
This has to be Mercedes. She's too big a star. She's too big a signing. I don't see any path forward where Stephanie takes these titles. It's going to be a big show piece for her. She's going to be on a big stage with Mercedes for sure. But that's where that's going to go.
Yeah. Move on.
Yeah. All right. So
I find it all just real quickly, and we can because it's that cut and dried. But that I just find it very interesting that you have the AEW champion fighting the New Japan Strong champion, but yet they went face to face in CMLL.
Yeah,
where Stephanie actually wrestles with the New Japan Strong title, and they
hold two titles.
Yeah. And
real quick, John, I apologize. I misspoke. I meant to say TBS title. I don't know why I said world title. Because I think of her as like a top title holder, but she's not currently.
No, but I did. Again, great. It's going to be a great match. Absolutely.
Definitely.
I don't think Stephanie is absolutely credible. For those who don't know about her, she is. You speak of any top women in wrestling right now, you absolutely can include her name in it. Yes, she is that good, and you probably haven't heard of her until a few weeks ago when they mentioned her.
And John, just for clarification, who did Stephanie beat for that New Japan Strong Women's title?
Oh
yeah, the top Joshi and the top women's wrestler in the entire fucking country of Japan, Julia. So if that says anything to people that don't know who Stephanie is and how good she is, she beat a woman that was flown here to America by WWE to watch WrestleMania because WWE and the guy that runs the whole company now wants her in his company to boast their women's division. So if Stephanie isn't that good, just look at the woman that she beat for the title that she's going to so unjustly, and in my opinion and my thought, lose to, Sasha Banks. The match is an
there comes that cease and desist. Never mind.
The match is an that match, whatever. I'm ready, and I hate to say it because we're not at that point anymore, but I just know who's going to win and who's going to lose. So I might just, go get another drink or food or have a smoke or use the bathroom because we might as well just give the title. Just Stephanie, here, give me the title. I'm going to give it to Mercedes, and we're just going to call it a night.
And scene.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, we need to land on what's likely going to be the main event, which is your AEW champion Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. And I've been saying on this show for weeks and weeks that Will Ospreay is one of the most important signings, bar none, because he's evolved to such a point where he was already one of the best wrestlers in the world, but now he has all of this character and realism, and he's just a genuine person when he comes out there. He is who you want representing your company, in my opinion. Go back and watch the press conferences that he did and how honest and how amazing those were, and the promos and all. Like, I love Swerve. Swerve's awesome. Swerve is also all of those things too. But I just think you put the title on Will Ospreay tomorrow.
So what do you do with the international title?
He has two titles, or he can vacate one. Whatever. There's a tournament. It's AEW. We do a tournament.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I like your idea, but I feel it's a little early. It's a little early. Just put
Maybe.
the world title on. Have the match. The match is great. The match is gonna be fucking amazing because they've had matches before that have been amazing and awesome and entertaining. But take the two guys and put them in the main event of the biggest show for the company.
Wembley?
Okay. Wembley. No, that makes sense. So based on that, you could do.
That's a booking thing right there. And as we all know, said by, Uncle Bully, Tony's not a booker, he's a matchmaker. If Tony really was a matchmaker, he would understand that the match to make is you're going to England. You own a soccer team over there. One of the biggest stars you signed is from that country. Put him against the world champion in the main event at the biggest show for your company in his home country and have him win the title there. Okay, so Neil, based on that, obviously that means they have to sort of keep Will engaged in something for the next 2 months, right? Yeah. So, and I'm not a big fan of AEW's the way that they typically have run-ins and beatdowns and interruptions and non-finishes, and there's too much of it. But finish with MJF.
But in this case, if Will Ospreay is screwed out of his title opportunity, because you can't just have him lose clean, because then a future title opportunity just makes no sense. Like, he lost clean, moved to the back of the line, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
So there has to be some shenanigans. Something has to happen. Well, I like the idea of doing it at Wembley, though.
I have a quick question. Do we have, other than tomorrow night and then Wembley, are there any other big shows or pay-per-views in between?
There's one in July.
There's their Beach Break show in Chicago.
Because I'm agreeing with what both of you are saying, but here's to me traditional booking 101. One loses tomorrow, one loses, the other loses at whatever they're in between, Beach Break or whatever. That sets you up the rubber matches at Wembley.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah,
I can see that.
No, I can see that, but I just feel like this story's building. Great story, personal, this, that, the other, but it should be. This match should be at Wembley.
Oh, I don't like it just because, like I said, Forbidden Door has always been. It's the one real show for AEW where they can absolutely just have dream matches and super matches, and Tony Khan can go wild with his checkbook and all of his action figures and make matches that we would not see any other time, any other place. I have a problem, though, with the fact that the main event is one of your AEW champions against the main AEW champion.
Yes.
Okay. And there you go. If you're going to call it Forbidden Door, Prohibited Portal, I really don't. Who gives a fuck?
Whatever.
Whatever they call it. I just, for me, and part of the problem is well, Tony Khan has a lot of money, and Tony Khan wants to have the best wrestlers in the world on his payroll. So, where if this was 2 years ago, a Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland match, New Japan, Will Ospreay coming over to face Swerve Strickland as champion is a phenomenal. You don't need zero story, zero anything with that. But you don't have that now. Why? Well, Will Ospreay obviously is an AEW contracted talent now, and he's also one of your champions. And supposedly now the face of your quote-unquote international championship. It was originally brought about, and correct me if I'm wrong, was brought about so that we would be taken overseas. It would be taken to Japan. It would be taken to Europe. It would be taken to Antarctica if they could book the match to be defended But now you all you're doing is wrapping it all up, and now you have this guy. Does Will Ospreay absolutely within a year is Will Ospreay AEW World Champion? Absolutely.
Yes.
You cannot deny the amount of heat this guy has, how over he has gotten, not only with AEW fans, but American fans in general who have not known who he was previously.
Yeah.
And he's Will Ospreay, as big as Okada was, Will Ospreay has become bigger than Okada. Period. Fight me on it if you want. But he's bigger than Okada.
He's bigger than Okada in
on American TV, yes.
On okay. On American TV, I'll say that because he really hasn't wrestled, and Okada's a heel, which I've said he always was, and he has been since the day he returned from excursion. So I've been saying that for well over 10 years. But Will is the bigger star than Okada because Will grew into the atmosphere, the character, the performance, the promos, everything. But Okada was always the biggest star. And Will had to beat Okada to become that. Will did. But I still feel like Okada is a bigger star because of the name and the recognition and the history. I don't get me wrong. I've become a Will Ospreay fan. I wasn't when he was a junior. It took that time period where he took time off during the pandemic, and he came back big and muscular and was like, I am now a heavyweight, and he started incorporating the heavyweight Japanese style wrestling into his matches and started toning down the junior heavyweight Japanese style. So I've become a fan more. But honestly, to me, Okada's still a bigger name. But that's just me, and that's just me going off of what I know and what I've seen over the last 10 plus years. But yes, to the people here that don't know Ospreay, that don't know Okada, don't know Ospreay, yes, Ospreay is the bigger name here. But the match, you wanted a Forbidden Door, like John said 2-3 years ago, you wanted a Forbidden Door match, put Swerve Strickland against somebody from New Japan that is contracted New Japan, against any heavyweight, because that New Japan talent is going to lose anyway. But and like John said, there doesn't need to be a story. Just make it a Forbidden Door match. Just make sure that it's a contracted New Japan talent. That's all. That's all you need to do.
They could have used Ishii in that spot otherwise.
They could have used Ishii. They could have used anybody. Just needs to be a New Japan heavyweight that's contracted to New Japan. And Tony, like we've said, Tony could have been like, okay, here's a check for, this much. And, since our money is much higher value than theirs right now, it would have been like, oh, well, okay. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. We've run a couple minutes over. John, I'm going to blame you and send you a bill.
Yes.
Actually, we're sending the bill to John Bay.
Right.
Thanks, John Bay.
Handle that.
Want everybody to get a chance to go over and watch Collision. Everybody enjoy AEW Forbidden Door tomorrow. It's going to be a super fun show. Neil, where can people find you? Yeah.
Right there on the screen. Right there. On X, Instagram, Craft Beer Neil, because as those who know me know, I like my douchebag beers.
And he absolutely does break it down between douchey and baggy.
Yes,
so
I do.
He will give you an honest opinion.
And also, as was mentioned at the beginning of the show, I do live in the area of Paul Heyman. So I will be at Forbidden Door tomorrow night with my best friend John. If you follow Nation's Corner, me, whatever, you see me, come say hi. I might just slight chance, and when I say slight, I mean it by like this, that I might have a few beers in me. So I might remember, I might not. But hey, if you see me, come up, say hi. We'll talk for a few minutes. We'll hang out. Maybe we'll both have a beer. But yeah. Oh, and John, I'm gonna steal from you. Thanks, Deb. Nation's Corner on location tomorrow night. Like I said, I'll be there. So yeah. Cheers.
John, how about you?
Well, I don't have to do the hashtag Nation's Corner on location since Neil just did that for me, but you can follow me on the socials, on the Instagram and the Twitter. I don't use X, at Twisted Metal Fab. And of course, follow the exploits of the most dangerous weapon in professional wrestling. That's right, the AK-9K. It was taking the night off under protest, but
oh wow,
yeah, well, he's getting
contract negotiations.
A little things are pending, but version 3.0 is out and available now for the AK-9K, otherwise known as the Ass Kicker 9K, and you can follow his exploits on Instagram at AssKicker9K. And quick shout out for a young lady who's been all over everything this week. She was on a game show on Fox TV with her family and husband. She was on Busted Open Radio Friday with Thunder and Dave and Nick Nemeth. And again, her wonderful husband. I am talking about Lady Frost and the Savage Gentleman, Victor Benjamin. Lady Frost is taking on Stephanie Vacour tonight on Collision. Yeah, a nice little preview match for Stephanie's match tomorrow night on Forbidden Door. So,
and I believe she was on AEW this week as well.
Yes,
and shout out their gym they just opened.
Yes, Punch King Fitness and outside of Pittsburgh. If you are in that area, go get trained by Lady Frost and Victor Benjamin. Be a better person.
Yeah, go to that gym.
Agreed. Yeah, they're good people, man. Yeah, a lot of our friends been on doing big things lately. It's really cool to see.
Yes.
All right, you can find me at PW Front Row on all the socials. You can find us at Nation's Corner on X and at The Nation's Corner across all other socials. One more.
Yeah, can I just add one thing? Well,
please.
Finish plugging, but I want to talk about. I just want to throw in one thing on the pre-show that we didn't talk about, but finish. Putting.
That's it. Oh, yeah. So, and next week is going to be our 3rd anniversary show. So stay tuned. It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah. Also, I know we went over. Thanks, John Bay. But I'm gonna go over a little bit more. Thing we didn't talk about on the pre-show. Women's tag match. Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakano from Stardom versus Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe from the faction Oedo Tai from Stardom. Very nice, very good, women's tag match. A lot of history between all 4 women. So please make sure to check out the pre-show. Starts at 6:30. A lot of good women's matches on there. 2 great women's matches on the main card. But please check out the pre-show. See some Stardom talent. If you've never seen Stardom, watch it. Watch Stardom World. But just one of the things we didn't get to talk about, but hey, I like Stardom. Oh, and Marigold, July 13th. Io Sky versus Utami Hayashishita. I know I butchered her last name, but that we can blame the beers for that. And then same day, Pro Wrestling Noah, AJ Styles versus Nomichi Marufuji. 2 great things that WWE is doing with Japanese wrestling promotion. So please go Go watch those 2 matches, and yeah, have a good night.
Yeah, it's a very cool time right now, especially with the partnerships with like TNA and other companies. You just never know, anything's possible these days. So, all right, folks. Thanks, Neil. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us for a few extra minutes. Y'all have a good week, and we'll see you next week. Later.